Hi everyone, and welcome to Passive House episode 15. In this episode, we are going to just be air sealing some of the ducts that the plumbers brought down. They got a lot of the duct work ran in the attic. I'll take you up there and show you that. And then the drywallers are going to board the ceiling and we're going to insulate in the attic. So I don't know how much of that I'll put in this episode, but we'll see. So I'll take you up in the attic and show you what they did up there. So up here in the attic, they've got all this run, and there's spots over there where it comes down into the rooms. So that's why I have to tape and air seal it to the membrane. But I'm not sure how much of this they're done up here. It looks like they got a bit more work to do. But I'll air seal what they have done already. So basically what I did is just took little strips of tape and taped up. Made it kind of as neat as possible. Then it gets the best seal. So quick update here. Just got these pocket doors installed. So that should turn out well. They got the rails, so the door just slides into there, and then this part will be drywalled over. And what I'm working on now is just cutting out strips to go to fur out these windows so they can drywall. So the board slips above the clips. So those will just go on there. And I think the borders are gonna be back here this afternoon, and they're gonna start on the ceiling, and then we can start insulating. So today is insulating day. We got the machine here, and I'll introduce you to Chuck. He's taking Adam's place, and he's gonna be feeding the blower today, and I'll be up in the attic. So we'll head up there and get started. Okay, so everything up here is all set up. Got the hose coming in through the garage access. Got this laser here just to kind of show us whereabouts we're gonna fill the insulation to. And yeah, just starting down there, and we'll get started, and I'll show you in a little bit what it looks like. So update, we got this insulated here. I think this is kind of about the depth we need it. And I forgot my GoPro at home this week, so I'll see if I can insulate and show you guys the process. So, quick demo of insulating here. This would be a lot easier if I had the GoPro. I just kind of got to use one hand. But kind of what I like to do, just to keep the dust down, is just bury the hose in itself there and just kind of drag it back. That way there's not so much overspray, and I can kind of control to keep those insulation stops open so the roof can breathe. And then I sometimes kind of have to spray it just a little bit to make sure it gets back there. But going about 18, 19, 20 inches deep, somewhere around there, to give us about an R65 up here in the attic. I'm just kind of evening it out. Got the laser up here to kind of guide us where to put it, at what height. So yeah, that's pretty much insulating in the attic with loose fill cellulose. So I managed to get way back in here in the truss work. There's this little blocked off space. Now it's really cloudy in here, so you probably can't see a whole lot. But I'm just filling it up back in here. This was really hard to get to. I had to weave the hose through there. This part is sheathed for some bizarre reason. I guess it's because the roof goes up there more, but Anyways, it's getting filled back in here, so check in a little bit. Okay, so now we moved on to the garage, and this is way down in the hip. I'm laying down in here, way back in here. Got the hose up there, right in the very corner. Now, I just got to guide it back to make sure we get enough insulation around in there, even at the very back. So, I'm just going to get up close here. Now, we're only going about 12 to 14 inches deep in the garage here. It's so dusty, I can't see what's going on. I can actually see better through the screen of my phone what's going on than trying to look at it in real life. Not even kidding you. Okay, now I can not really see through the screen of my phone either. So I'm gonna put this down and see what's going on. Okay, so we are officially done insulating in the attic. I'll just kind of show you here if I can. This insulation in the house part is, you know, around 18, 19, 20 inches, almost 2 feet deep. And then the stuff in the garage here, where I'm sitting right now, that stud wall there is the barrier between the house and garage. So where I am in the garage right now, it's about between 12 and 14 inches deep. So that should provide adequate insulation value for the passive side of the house. And because the garage isn't considered the passive side, it's just a 2x6 wall, it doesn't need to be kept or held to as high of a standard for ceiling insulation. So now that we're all done up in the attic, there's just this one wall left here that we couldn't insulate right away because the electrician still had some work to do over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish that off, and then just some blocking and other little things before the wall board drywall starts to go on. I guess I could show you the ceiling. I don't think I showed that yet. The boarders got this all done in 2 days, I think. The garage as well, so I'd say that's pretty good time. So one of the things I'm working on now is, in order to do the drywall mudding and stuff, it needs to be warm in here. So I'm just building a temporary frame and insulating this overhead door. I'm just gonna put the tarp back up and have that as backing, and then put the insulation in, and that should keep some of the heat in here. Well, there's what it looks like all insulated in here. Nothing fancy, just a temporary fix to keep the heat in while the mudders do the ceiling and the walls, and then it can dry properly. Okay, so what I'm doing now is working on cutting this floor back for the shower pan. And as you can see, it's got all these hydronic lines in it. So I have to cut it that far back. I think it's like 6 inches or so. And then that piece there has to be filled in. And I have to be very careful not to cut those hydronic lines. I have to set the saw 1 veneer less than what I need to actually cut through, and then just break the rest off. And then go through and finish with a Sawzall and just like surgically go around these, because any nick in them whatsoever could damage them. So I had to be extremely careful, and I actually made it without hitting them at all. So I'm pretty happy about that. That was probably the most stressful thing I've had to do. But anyways, I'm just kind of working on that and getting that piece filled in. And then the shower pan, I just have to make sure I don't cut any of these. I noticed there's a nick in the tape there, so I'll have to go and patch that up when I'm done. But yeah, a lot of this is just kind of like over here. It looks like someone cut that back. I don't know, that wasn't me. I gotta take my knife and clean that up a little bit, so the other piece can fit in there nicely. And I'll just put like a little shim under there to carry, just like that, to carry the weight of that corner. And I'll have to pull these clips here because they stick up too far. So I got this all complete with the 4x4 square cut out. So that should be a solid floor, just like the rest of this. Now, remember those plywood strips I was showing you earlier? These are to fur this out because this jam return piece is exactly a 1/2 inch away from there. So I just got some 1/2 inch plywood. And then when the drywall goes on here, like there won't be any casing or anything. It'll just be drywall and then drywall back here, which will tuck right into there and be a nice clean look. So I'm just putting that all the way around the windows. Well, I got all that window stuff done. So now what I'm gonna do is just basically sweep up. I got a lot of the stuff kind of picked up and moved out of the way. I'll maybe move a bit more stuff around, but that way everything will be clear for the drywallers and they won't have to spend as much time cleaning up after us, and they can just get right to work. So I'll sweep all this up and check back in later. Well, here it is all swept up. Should be ready for the boarders to come in and do their work, probably starting next week, I think. Well, thank you so much for watching episode 15. We're getting to the point where we're kind of working back here steady, so I think the passive house episodes will start to become a weekly thing again. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you'd like, check out my Instagram and my merch store. Links to those will be in the description. And yeah, we'll see you here episode 16.